responding to me here. Oh, shoot, it did go live. All right, go back to it. Sorry, guys. Oh, my computer's messed up. Start over, do over.
Hello, Copper Dan.
Hello. Welcome to the Copper Factory. I am your screwed up host, Copper Dan. And this is my gem, my real gem of a partner, the top pocket find, Mr. Packer Jack.
We survived. We didn't know if we were going to even ever do another show ever again, but we made it back alive.
We did. Yeah, that was the fastest weekend I think I've ever experienced in Florida. You froze up, partner. Are you still there?
Yeah. Had a great time and looking forward to sharing some photos with you guys tonight. Maybe having our compatriots shared with us that were shocking to me, and we actually learned.
So which one of our computers is messed up? This is not good. Packer Jack. Oh boy. Houston, we have a problem. Are we both froze? Are you back?
I'm back. What happened?
Oh man, we're having right at the start of the show technical difficulties, but I can hear you now. Oh goodness. There you are. We're good.
All right.
So I didn't hear a thing you just said in the last minute, but I don't know.
I just said I learned a lot on this trip from Gary specifically about metal detecting that I think literally is going to save us years of things we would learn over time about how you do it and do it with precision and accuracy, and really how it's more about him using his eyes than the metal detector itself. And
absolutely.
It was pretty intense. So, I mean, it was supposed to be 3 hours, and I think we spent 5 hours with him. And I think
we met him shortly after 9, and I think it was almost 2:00 by the time we headed back south.
Right. And I mean, the stuff that we learned with that, the stories that he told, and the stuff that was shocking about Oak Island that, I watch the show every week, and so does Ben, and we were both like, holy crap,
Yeah. You guys are in for a treat tonight. Ben and Ashley are going to be on here shortly, so we're going to blow some time, do some other things, and wait for them. We've got probably 40, 50 pictures to go through. We got some stories to tell. Secrets about Oak Island.
A little bit of treasure, and we did bring some stuff back for giveaways and for charity as well too. And I think Gary's going to be sending us some more stuff, so we'll share that as well too. But amazing time. So we've got a bunch of stuff, including not just You Don't Know Jack that we're going to go through tonight, but we're going to do the first copper kettle drawing from You Don't Know Jack from the first 6 episodes. So those of you that have made a correct answer into You Don't Know Jack, your name is actually in.
So what are we giving away in the copper kettle?
Do you see what I'm wearing right now? We're going to give away an official History Channel Oak Island. It's a real Bobby Dazzler t-shirt.
I'm guessing it's a real Bobby Dazzler.
It's a real Bobby Dazzler t-shirt.
And after you guys hear what a Bobby Dazzler is tonight, You're all going to be calling Copper Dan the real Bobby Dazzler.
That was funny. That was funny when Gary's mom called him after that.
No, that is, of the 5 hours we spent with Gary, most of it was just him talking to us, telling stories. I mean, I hope we can remember half of them.
Yeah. Mary Green says, what metal detector we use? Mine Lab Equinox.
Yes.
And specifically because Gary goes waist high into the water on the beach as well too. And it's waterproof and very resistant to the salt. So you pay a lot more for Mine Lab detectors than other cheap ones that you can get, but it's built to withstand going into the waist high water in the ocean to be able to still metal detect in there.
And Gary was honest. He goes, I am a Mine Lab tester. So he gets them all for free, but he was also not selling them to us either. We tried to give him, I reached out and I said, hey, Gary, how about you sign that one you got right there and give it to me and I will raise money for St. Jude's. And yeah, I got nowhere with that one, but I had to try.
Well, let's say hello to everybody. We've got Honeybee, Redneck Express, Devil Bud, Susie Fenhaven, Richard Rutherford, Candy Putnam. Let's go for a walk. Davio is in the house. A is in the house.
Czar is in the house. Richard
Andy's here.
Ellie Nuss.
Nomadic Madman. Bavetta.
My brother from another mother, Davio, 22. USA China's in the house. Sammy.
Sam's here.
Miniature Marino.
Mary Green, I mentioned Debbie K. Lori James. All right, you guys. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here. We have a ton of stuff to go through, a bunch of pictures from the trip, and obviously we want to share that with you and share with you what we found, and then also share some of the prizes and stuff that we brought back with you guys as well too. I had the time of my life. In all seriousness, Dan is a humble guy, and he joked, "Oh, you're going to get to meet the amazing Copper Dan," but it was awesome to meet Dan and give him a hug since we spend so much time talking to each other and have now for over a year. And to meet
I've been wanting to meet you and Ben both, and you guys got there a few minutes late. Gary was already there, so my wife and I were already chatting with Gary, and you walked up, and Gary didn't realize that none of us had ever met in person before. Well, you and Ben have met in person, but
just a month ago in Vegas. So.
And it was like all this stuff all at once. It's like,
Yep. Yeah. So we had a great time. We'll go through all those pictures, but why don't we keep the content train going? Our promise to all of you that watch to keep this interesting and on the screen share.
I'm guessing we're going to play You Don't Know Jack.
We're going to play something. All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let me go full screen. All right, Dan, can you see it full screen? Let me know if you can.
We are full screen ahead.
All right. Can you believe this is episode 7 of You Don't Know Jack?
Unbelievable.
We're keeping the dream alive. Each show will invite Jack Stoof to join us for a fun segment called You Don't Know Jack. Dan, did you send him the Zoom link? Is he in the waiting room?
I didn't. I'll be honest, I did not. I should have. Of all nights, too, this should have been the night.
Should have been the night we should have sent it to him. It's a fun segment to learn more about Jack without asking him solve or chase-related questions unless he volunteers to do so. There's no doxing going on here, and the information unless Jack gives us fresh content has been shared elsewhere before in previous shows, websites, books, photos, articles, or other publications. We may revisit some of his emails to searchers or simply ask a trivia-related question like the ones we're about to do to launch this not-so-new feature. Just remember, Copper Dan is one of the only searchers that we know of that has sat in an airport and quaffed beer with Jack to get to know him since Forrest ended the chase. He knows Jack, so let's play what, Copper Dan?
You Don't Know Jack.
You Don't Know Jack. Question number 1, Copper Dan.
Before I met Jack at the airport, my flight arrived in the morning and I had to kill time until Jack arrived in the late afternoon. How many alcoholic beverages did I have while waiting to meet Jack? And as a bonus question, I'm going to add in, what were those alcoholic drinks?
Ooh.
Yeah, I flew in just the way it worked out. I had two options for flights, 11 in the morning or 4 o'clock. Well, I was supposed to meet Jack at 5, and I'm like, man, one thing goes wrong with that 4 o'clock flight with the weather.
Look at the first answer.
Hang on, I'm I got to get over to it. The first answer, 2.
No, Richard Rutherford.
With 3. Ding, 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 ding. We
The
have
first
a
answer
winner.
is correct. Dan was getting juiced. I don't know if we can trust anything if you had 3 cocktails before you met Jack. My God.
You know, that was on the road to disaster. I had to quit. All right. So far, the Treasure Warriors. Hey, they're not supposed to get to play this game.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, if you're in chat, you should be on here live with us. Well, maybe right after we get done with
Treasure Warriors
this.
is actually in the drawing because they got one of the answers right last week. But did you like this meme? Alcohol is never the answer, but it's a good way for getting the question. There you go, Dan. You don't know Jack. Question number 2 goes to me. In 2012, Jack wrote an article for BuzzFeed titled "The Dark Side of Facebook Memes." In one of the pictures of Facebook memes, there is one that says, "In this house, dog hair is blank." How does that meme end? A meme that says, "In this house, dog hair is blank." Doody, 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 doo. Doody, doo, 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 doo.
Maybe I should have kept drinking when I met Jack. God, maybe I would have actually just been a little more loose and got some more information.
Was it gin and tonics? You had 3
Yeah,
gin and tonics waiting for Jack?
That's
I
kind of
don't think
my
you can trust anything you said about meeting Jack. You were hammered. Dog hair is king. That is incorrect. Dog hair is carpet. That is incorrect. Really not. All right, we're going to go 15 more seconds.
This is a big one. This could get you into the drawing.
Well, no, anybody who wins tonight is going to be in the next drawing.
Sorry.
Because I had to prepare. I had to get all the names on shit. An accessory, foliage.
All right.
Appetizer.
5, 4,
hey, we're getting close.
3. Are we going to keep going with it or?
Oh, I think Honeybee got it in just in time. In this house, dog hair is a condiment. Honeybee, congratulations. She was the first one with
winner, chicken dinner.
Nicely done. All right, let's go to question number 3, Dan.
While I was getting inebriated waiting for Jack at the airport, I also purchased a book to help kill time. While I was getting loaded. What type of book did I buy?
What type of book did Dan buy at the airport while he was waiting for Jack?
Yeah, it should be an easy one.
Yeah, anybody who listened to you tell the story should know that.
Uh-huh.
Doody, 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 doo.
Getting loaded. I get high on life.
Lori James says porn.
All right.
That's
porn.
Incorrect. The Codex. No, that's incorrect.
Lori James twice with the same answer. That's still
paperback.
wrong.
Doug Preston. No. Hey, Beefagetti. Beefagetti comes through with the correct answer.
Sudoku. You know, I still have that. It's still in my backpack, and I just been slowly working through it. On flights, when I get bored, I take it out and work on it.
Did you see what that image says that I got? Dan?
What is with everybody a penthouse, Playboy, porn? What kind of person do you think I am, for God's sakes?
What does that image say, Dan, in the middle of it?
Hang on. I got to get to the right screen. I'm really good at Sudoku when I'm drunk. LOL.
All right. Final question for tonight. In another Jack Gets Mail email reply to a searcher, Stephen asked Jack if there was an artist or album that stuck out to him while I was searching. Jack replied that this song gave him the chills and provided a link to the YouTube video of the song. What was the title of the song? Not song. What was the title of the song, and who is the artist that recorded it that gave Jack the chills?
I got chills. They're multiplying.
And I'm losing control.
I don't think that's the answer.
The song that gave Jack chills when Stephen asked him the question and Jack gets mail.
Mm-hmm.
People are crushing the medium right now, trying to figure out if Jack gets mail 1 or 2 or 3, trying to get to Stevens, trying to figure out click the YouTube link since Jack didn't type the name of the person. Prince, incorrect. Hey, Hooli got the first half. What was the title of the song? Oh, there we go. Honeybee got the rest of it. So it is
In a river.
Rostam, in a river. And listen how the lyrics start. Slide into the cool mud underneath the pines. Somewhere to your right or left is my body you can find. We are swimming with no clothes on in a river in the dark, and I am holding on to you, boy, in the faint light of the stars. So that's a cool song, and it is kind of eerily similar to Forrest. So we can see why that gave Jack the chills. So good job, everybody. Last week we had some hard ones. I realized when I went back and wrote down the names for You Don't Know Jack, that in the first episode, no one got an answer right because they were so hard. And in the second episode, we only had one person get an answer right.
Well, they've been getting better. They've been starting to catch on to your method of your madness. Probably doing some research. All
right. So we're not done. It is prize drawing time on You Don't Know Jack. And Dan, why don't you read off the name of the winners, the previous winners from the first 6 episodes that have their names that are now in the copper kettle?
So JK pioneered with 2 correct answers. Does that mean he gets put in the kettle twice?
No, I made an executive decision for him and Forrest Frenzy. Your name only goes in the kettle twice. You can answer correctly as many times to keep other people from getting into the drawing, but we're only going to put the names in once.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. All right. JK Pioneer, Lorraine S., Brit Chaser, Devil Bud, Steve Klein, Forrest Frenzy, The Treasure Warriors, Sophia D., and Flash Fordham.
All right. So I'm going to stop share. I've got the copper kettle.
Copper kettle. Where did you get that
paper from? In here.
Buy that at the gift store at the airport or something?
JK says I should have 3 correct. Devil Bud says you should have 2. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. I get to be wrong and still be right.
Hey, we're the number one. We better be careful. We are the number 1 rated game show on YouTube. Or actually, not YouTube, with the Chaser.
I'm going to hold this up, and Dan, as soon as you can see the name, you read.
Here we go.
Are you ready?
All right. The answer is JK Pioneer, one of our moderators.
JK Pioneer, congratulations for being the first copper kettle winner. You are the winner of It's a Bobby Dazzler official History Channel Oak Island t-shirt.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, JK.
Pioneer.
We'll need to get your address to Dan or myself, and
we'll get send it to John, Jeff, and he'll hook you up.
All right, and I see we got
look who's in the house.
We got somebody in the house, and I'm going to get the next PowerPoint ready while you're talking to him to make sure we've got it available.
Breaker, Ben, you got a copy come out. Uh-oh. He's coming and going.
Is it Ben or is it Mrs. Yen's fire?
Oh, hey. we get both of them. Look at that.
Yes.
I didn't say it once, did I? I didn't say it. Well, maybe at the end I said it.
You did.
Hello. Did I? I don't think I did. What's up,
Good
guys?
to see you guys.
Good to see you.
So I actually put together a PowerPoint presentation with all the photos, and then 3 sides was just topic points from Gary that we can talk about, but to keep us on track. So
awesome.
Good, because I don't remember anything. I'm with Copper Dan, and I was like, I hope I remember 2% of this.
Oh, I know.
It was all amazing.
Yeah, we were saying the same thing when we started the show. I mean, just ridiculously insane. So I'm going to share and then go full screen with this. Let me pull it back over here. All right, and Dan, let me know when you guys can see it full screen.
Good.
I got it. I see it.
Hey, Ben, not on camera, would you?
Oh shit! Sorry.
It's not your show.
I know that.
Yeah.
Now we're good. See, nothing's happening.
You just. All right, there's the man.
There he is. There's Gary. This is us standing in front of Gary, and you can see we're on the beautiful beach there. Weather was incredible.
It was windy.
Yeah,
so windy.
It was hard to hear him because it was so windy.
Yeah. So just so you guys know where we're at, here's kind of a zoom in. I'll do a zoom out. So we're at Frederick Douglass Memorial Park, and you can see West Palm Beach on the south side, and you can see where Orlando is up towards the top. And that area kind of from Stewart, Florida up to Melbourne is known as the Treasure Coast, where the 1715 Spanish fleet sank, but also there have obviously been many other shipwrecks there. And this is the area where Gary lives. And this is kind of a zoom in to the place that we drove into, this parking lot here at Frederick Douglass Memorial Park, and sat and talked to him there for a good half an hour at least before we went down to the beach with the metal detector. And then Gary mapped off kind of, here's this 300 to 500 feet of area that is exactly where one of these ships sank. And we'll talk a little bit more about his techniques, but when he goes metal detecting, he doesn't walk for miles one way or miles the other way. He sticks to a really tight area and really thoroughly searches it. And it was cool to hear his techniques on that.
Mm-hmm.
So here's me taking a picture of Gary talking with us with Ben and Ashley and Frankie.
Look at
and Dan and
Miami Vice showed up.
yeah. He said to Ben a couple times, "You remind me of somebody." And later, Ben, tell him who he said.
I don't remember. Luke Perry.
Luke Perry.
I was like, oh, I've never gotten that one before.
Yeah. Here's Ben with a metal detector. Actually, Gary teaching us, how they work and how to use them correctly. Identifying coin and how you mark it when you find it to dig or.
I was thinking back, when he was trying to think of this comedian's name and you guys said Chappelle. And I'm like, that isn't right. It's Eddie Murphy. I think because I think he was trying, and I kicked him in the ding. I'm like, that's Eddie Murphy.
Oh, was it? Okay.
You think I could have thought at the time though?
Eddie Murphy seems more his style than Chappelle anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's Gary me telling me the first time I was wrong with something I asked him.
Man, if I wore shorts.
You know what's funny? Hold on. You talked about the tide, and then he's like, the tide doesn't fucking matter, mate, or something like that. But then, like later, an hour later, he's like, the tide's the most important thing.
And if I wore shorts like that, I'd kick my own ass.
Yeah.
Those look like Duke Blue Devil colors. I don't know what you're talking about.
He was great. I mean, we certainly did not fanboy him in any way. And I think, maybe you guys can talk to this, but the fact, that, we started off saying, Dan's done the treasure hearts, Ben's an archaeologist. We love the show. We watched the show, but I think it set the right tone with him that we weren't just a bunch of people goofing around. We were actually there to really learn about how he does it and how he does it well. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
For sure.
So he took a picture with each of us, Dan and his wife, my wife and I, Gary. And again, he was just so great about it. There was just no pretense to him. And he was, I think, just incredibly generous with the amount of time and stories that he told us was insane.
He was like, do you guys want pictures? Like, take pictures. You want, like.
He said you could take all the pictures we wanted, just no video.
Yeah, no video. And then it's not even his fault.
So one of the things we did to keep up with the tradition of Dan getting maps signed is I brought some maps. I wanted to make sure they had Oak Island and Florida on them. And I brought 6 of them, and Gary signed them, and so that each of us could have one. But then we want to have some that we can give away to you guys as well too. And I wanted to have one that everybody in our group that's in the Fenn community had a chance to sign, and we'll show you that as well too.
Yeah, we got a quick question from chat from Godalkin.
Sure.
What model of detector did you all use? Gary brought with his Mind Lab. What's it called?
Equinox.
Equinox. Thank you.
Equinox 800.
Mind Lab Equinox 800.
Yep.
The best of the best.
He literally at one point walked it into the water and showed us, how he actually detects going up to waist high in the water. And there was some pretty useful tips there that I can remember to turn around when I actually, so the waves don't hit me from behind.
Exactly. And knock you down.
Right. No. So this is just one of the 3 pages of just topics I wanted to run through with you guys. I mean, he went really deep into his heritage and how he grew up very poor, and how his dad was, Italian, of the Italian descent. And when he was born, he looked African-American. And so they sent him out of the country. But he grew up pretty much dirt poor on a farm in London. I mean, it's just a pretty incredible story.
Mm-hmm. Both his parents couldn't read or write.
Yeah.
Both
his parents couldn't read or write. He'd go out and dig up bottles and stuff, and then he got his first crappy metal detector with the wire sticking out on the outside of it raw, and would come home and throw it in the corner. And
I remember that now. I haven't forgot about that story.
Because he didn't have a closet.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't have a closet. And then, he talked about how he would take that metal detector and go down to the rivers and everything. And there was so much iron and crap thrown in there. And that's when he started to learn that time is probably one of the most valuable things to a metal detector, somebody doing this, where you can waste time finding garbage and having your metal detector just go off and go off and go off. And you're digging up literal crap as opposed to finding valuable stuff. And he kind of carried that theme all the way through, I think, of, you don't waste your time digging up too many bottle caps on the beach if you're going to do this the right way. And then he talked about, work he did on farms over there, and then finally getting to Florida and not wanting to get killed when he first got here. And so he drove up to Fort Lauderdale. Guy taken to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. What did that kid do? Like, he flipped him off. he pulls his first experience with an American and he gets flipped off.
It's like, oh, welcome. It's like, oh, that's like welcome to America kind of a moment. Like,
he was waving to a little kid in a car going by him, and the kid flipped him off. That was his first day in the United States. So then he was kind of like a handyman, and he was building fences and roofs and painting and doing all that stuff. But then he would go out and detect early in the morning or after he'd do those jobs. And of course, he shared with us later a lot of the celebrities and people that he's actually done stuff for.
Oh my, it's pretty much everyone you can think of.
And I believe he was talking about faux finishing painting.
Yeah.
It's very artistic. This isn't just painting with a roller. The faux finish, it's artistic, it's art.
Yeah.
Which was impressive. And he's apparently very good at it because he does a lot of celebrity homes.
So then we got into, he said, learning when and where to detect on the beach and in the surf, and when you should actually detect versus just using your eyes and do sifting after a storm. And he told that story about, and we'll show the ring that he found, and I'll let one of you guys talk about what the value of it is now. But he, the Mel Fisher 1715 fleet and the organization that survived after Mel passed away, gets the ocean water rights from the state of Florida and the federal government to do the in the water searching. And Mel Fisher patented what they call mailboxes or post boxes, that are these kind of angled tubes that take the churn from the propeller and force it down into the sand to blow up to 8 inches of sand off. And then those guys find all that stuff down there. But what Gary was saying is, early on, he would go and find out where they were. And when they were close to shore, they would blow up that sand up, and he'd wait for the tide to come in and go out. And he just picked stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he literally found, that ring. And then he and his wife go out and sift after storms, and they don't even take the metal detector. They just go out sifting. I thought that was an incredible story. And then, of course, he showed, he talked about this ring. And why don't one of you talk about what he first got it appraised at and what it's worth now?
It was what did it started at, like, the first guy I brought to said maybe worth like 50,000. 50,000, I think, was like the first number he was told. And then he held on to it, and then he got it reappraised, and then like the next guy's like, or it's the same guy even, he's like, I can't even he couldn't even like hold back what it really was anymore. He's like, no, it's really like, what was it, like $250,000?
No, it was 540 and now, or 520. And he said now it's worth 740.
Well, yeah, there were three though. It was like something really tiny, like 50, and then it was like $250,000, 300,000, whatever, and then the final number like 750,000.
Was this is the thing that when he went to get it appraised, he like dressed his kids up and like, give them an ice cream cone. Like, they dressed dirt poor because it was like a percentage or something.
Yeah, you'd have to pay 10% of the value to get it appraised.
Of the value to get it appraised. So this guy appraised it for him for like $250 flat fee. Yeah. And he takes it out, and then the guy's like, probably like, holy crap.
And then he said Christie's the last time appraised it for free because they're hoping if he ever sells it, they'll come to him. But that's when he got the 740,000. So imagine that you go out on the beach and you find that.
Mary Green says learning your machine's tones takes some time, and Gary actually did speak to that. So
he did.
One of the things he said he did is he said for new detectors is to put a penny in your shoe or your boot, and then when you hit a tone on the beach, you can go just scan it over your boot, and you start to learn what what a penny sounds like, or what.
Yeah, you can memorize that tone for the penny.
Yeah, you can start to memorize that tone.
Yep. Yeah.
So Gary was starting to kind of become famous in his own right, and because he had, his books and a bunch of his stuff in one of the shops in Florida, when the Luginas and some of the people that were getting ready to do Oak Island were looking for somebody, they went to this store and they actually saw Gary's stuff, and they were like, oh, we need to call this guy. But this just cracked me up because it reminds me of the whole like Netflix, HBO shows. You guys, Ben and Ashley, you know this from all your friends that are in the business, but it's like, they told him, oh, he's like, well, how much money will you pay me? And they're like, well, you don't get anything. You get the exposure from being on the show.
Right.
He's like, sorry, mate, I've got to work because I got a family to feed. I'm not. So he literally turned it down. Like, I think the first couple of times they came at him to do the show. And I just thought it was funny because you got all these people that try to do documentaries and this stuff. Like, oh, this is going to give you the exposure and, give you the exposure you need to get to the next level, but they don't pay you.
He said, where is the bank of exposure then where I can cash
As an artist, we get that. I get that all the time from coffee shops. Oh, right. Put your art on our walls and you'll get the exposure of people seeing it. Now it don't work. No. How about you buy it from me and then you try to sell it.
Right.
Yeah. So then he was pretty frank about the whole, it's a business, it's a show, it's a family business from the Lugina brothers, Rick and Marty. So I know for those of you that don't watch the show, you might not know any of these names. It sounds like he has a real affinity for Rick, and Rick is really into the archaeology and finding the treasure, as opposed to it being a business with Marty and their people. Sounds like he has a great relationship with Laird, and they go out and booze together while they're there. So Laird seems like the tight ass that's always telling people no because he's there to represent the government on the show.
Meanwhile, as every
archaeologist
on the planet knows, you can't be an archaeologist if you don't drink like a lush.
And then it was interesting how he talked about the young people on the show. Jack Begley being, the son of Marty's partner, and Craig Tester. So Jack is his son, and then you've got Alex Lugina, and then Peter is their nephew. And it was interesting. I'll let you guys kind of talk about your thoughts on that. And he talked about Dan Blankenship and the Blankenships being kind of rowdy guys as well, too. But I just thought it was interesting how he described them and described the business. And also you see down below, possibly being replaced by Jack, and how they're kind of looking at the sons and the younger guys being the next generation to take over the Oak Island business, since they own part of the island up there. What were your guys' thoughts on Gary just starting to really give kind of some really candid insight, his personal thoughts on the show and what goes on with it?
Well, first of all, apparently Jack Begley and I have the same sunglasses. So I put on my sunglasses. Hold on, I think I have them.
Hey, Jack Begley wears those.
I put on, we were talking and then the sun kind of moved and it got sunny. So I put on my sunglasses. And he just stopped and he's like, hey, Jack Begley wears those. And I was like, really?
Yeah. And then I got to talk about, and that's kind of what started the whole him talking about, like we talked about Jack, some of the stuff, I mean, all of it was positive, but some of it felt like, I don't know if we're going to repeat that part just because it seemed like some of it, he's like, don't tell anybody between us and the sand, that kind of shit. But all of it was just interesting to find out that it really is. And the way the network views it too, for them is it's a family show. The family runs the business. The family runs all decisions. The family gets priority. And I think it was almost a reminder that, Rick and Marty can't do it forever. And whether they find something or not, it seems like there's always going to be an operation going on there. And it does seem like they're kind of preparing to hand it down to the next generation. I remain to be convinced that the next generation seems as passionate as say Rick, but
well, and here's something I think we can share. Oh, go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just he came across as a really humble guy. Like, I'm I'm not the main centerpiece of the show. That's Rick and Marty and I'm like, yeah, but and I told them this when we were just saying our goodbyes. I'm like, the show doesn't work without you. And I think they know that.
Yeah.
You will probably get a spinoff from the show. I mean, you just got that that personality that, you know, it's just I watch the show because of him, not, you know, because this is the stuff he says when he finds things, which we're going to talk about,
Yeah, we are going to talk about that. And so
Because
just one of the things he talked about, and I said he has kind of probably a greater affinity for Rick, because Rick is really into, you know, the long, hard work and what it takes. But he talked about Alex and Peter basically come up for 5 weeks. They do the shoots. You know, Gary goes out and flags all the plugs, and then they come out and they let the boys dig up the plugs with Gary so they can be on the show. You know, at one point they were talking about, well, Jack really wants to kind of be the lead metal detector, Gary. So Gary sat out a couple episodes, and then Jack decided he didn't like it because it was a lot of hard work. So they brought Gary back.
Well,
which is interesting.
He works when he's up there for 6 months. He works 5 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, so you just see a little part. You know, what they want to let you see, I guess. And but he goes, I'm doing a lot of work when I'm there, and he loves it. He's not complaining at all.
And plus, it's a patient man's work, and if not for everybody, you know. So Jack, it might seem like fun, or it might seem like something you want to do all the time, and then you're just like, this is annoying. I could do this all day. It's just annoying. I don't want. I'm not finding anything like that. But when
it's that moment, that one little split second moment when you get a beep.
Right.
One thing I thought was interesting was he said he got a lot of hate by just doing the metal detecting and flagging and letting someone else dig it up, like saying, here you go, dig this up, Jack, dig this up, you know, Peter, and people that watch the show,
including us,
think, gosh, he's so lazy. Like he can't even dig his own hole. And
dig your own hole, Gary.
And what he was explaining was that's because of production. That's on purpose. He would absolutely dig it up. However, production says, nope, we want you to be the metal detector, and we want to give the kids something to do. We want them to be interacting, so they will dig everything up. And that's why it is that way.
And it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense now, but I understand people writing to him and Gary probably going, oh my gosh, that's not what's going on at all.
Right.
Yeah, and then he didn't spend a lot of time in it, but he told us about a couple really scary letters that he got, and you know, he had to get the police and the FBI. So it's just, you know, coming with fame, it's like anything. And some people in the chase have gone through this, and it's Forrest went through it, and it's like anytime, you know, you got some notoriety or you're seen by a ton of people and become a personality.
Can we you think can we tell the story on his house?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
So, and one of the Ben's like, I'm not gonna, you know, it's not saying anything.
It's fine.
I think it's all right.
I don't. But one of the episodes, I don't know when was this? Was this a year ago or?
It was the Beyond Oak Island show.
Yeah, Beyond Oak Island.
Yeah.
They come down to Florida, and Gary takes them out, and they go metal detecting on the ocean. But then they go back to Gary's house. That wasn't Gary's house.
And it was like a baller house. It was like
they rented a house, and Gary took some of his stuff from his house, put it in there, shot, and left. And wouldn't you know it, that somebody actually figured out where that house was and went to it, which is exactly why he did that. Because, you know,
they're like, I'm at your house, but you're not here. The car's not here. And he's like, that's not my house, mate.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're a liar.
And then on that episode, they meet another treasure hunter who found a lot of Spanish Fleet stuff at a restaurant. And he got an email from this guy saying, hey, we're going to eat at that restaurant that you ate at. And do you and your wife want to come and have dinner with us, and I'll buy? And then I have some ideas for the show to share with you. Yeah. And Gary's like, yeah,
boy, does this sound familiar. I'm like, crap.
Right. Yeah. So it's
sounds like a Tuesday for him.
And so the other thing that he said is he actually, as Dan mentioned, I mean, he works his butt off when he's up at Oak Island. So when you see all those little orange flags when he's out metal detecting, he's gone out and identified potential dig spots before the kids come out with him to dig. And he's already found all those spots before they go out and shoot, so that the camera crew and whoever his partner is for that episode can actually just start digging up the plugs. So he's doing all that work in advance of those shots that are going on.
But when they're doing that work, it is they aren't acting it out. They don't dig it up first and then rebury it, and then when they find something good, reenact it.
Yeah, that was good.
That was cool because we've watched so many times and we're like, was this reenacted?
I'm looking at the soil. Did they already?
He said there was 2 times they had to do a partial, just a partial retake of something.
Yeah, pickup.
And one of those 2 times is going to be a story we're going to tell tonight, and this is going to be worth your guys' wait to hear this story.
Here's one. If you watch the show, you remember the ruby brooch that they found, and obviously Gary, we've talked about him, famously saying Bobby Dazzlers. So he shared it when I'll let you guys share that story. And then obviously he found the lead Templar cross. They actually call it Drayton's cross, which is pretty cool that it's named after him. And the story that I'll let you guys tell about, that Ben and I were surprised because we watched the show and we actually thought they went to France after this.
This surprised me.
Yeah, I'll let you guys talk about that. So let's start off with the meaning of Bobby Dazzlers, and Copper Dan, why don't you take that one?
You want to sit it here?
Yeah.
So when season 1 comes out, whatever, when he starts using the term Bobby Dazzler, his family, I believe it was his mom or something, sister, calls him up, and they're like, I can't believe you're saying that. So apparently where he's from, a Bobby Dazzler is like a hot chick. So I'm like, wait a minute, Gary, you called John and I a bunch of Bobby Dazzlers. What do you say? Like, anyways, so yeah, that's a Bobby Dazzler where he is from, is actually a pretty girl.
We laughed at that. Minotaur says, Copper Dan, Packerjack, did you say that what the percentage of flags that aren't filmed? No, Minotaur, I don't know that. They dig all them up because he's actually found something to dig, but I would say the percentage is probably very low on what we actually see, because we're typically going to see when they actually find something that's of value. So it's got to be a very small percentage. If he said he's out marking upwards to 100 of those a day while he's out there. So think about that. If it's 100 and we only see 1 or 2 on an episode, 2%, 5%, I don't know. It's got to be a very low percentage of those.
Ashley, did we lose Ben for a while?
No, he's standing right here.
I'm having a Bobby Dazzler.
All right, because you got it, because Ben's got to be here for this next part, because
I'm here.
I'm right here. You gotta tell this. I'll tell this.
Yeah.
What?
So Ben, why don't you talk about, like, when you talked about the first pickup that they did because of why don't you talk about him finding the cross and the pickup, but then that's second and third bullet point there about you and I being just shocked when he was saying that Rick went to France before it was found.
I don't remember the details on the pickup.
Oh, I do.
I know the France part. So you tell the pickup.
Well, you tell the France part. That's
okay,
first.
so I guess it happened fucking first. Okay, so the way it showed on the show happened, I guess the way it happened. So Rick and a few others are asked by, I guess, the production crew, because they were bringing on somebody with like a kind of a French background in theory. So they send Rick and the crew to France, and originally it was supposed to be for, I guess,
a week, 10 days.
Like 10 days, a couple weeks, and like, all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, hey, we're going to Europe for a little bit. Heck, let's do this, and they're all hopping on board and they want to go. And then at the last second, it gets down to it's 3 days. So you have to fly across the ocean for
because Rick didn't want to go.
Because Rick just didn't want to go at all. He just kept not wanting to go. He'd rather be on the island working. And so it goes down to 72 hours. Nobody really wants to go anymore. They finally do it. They cross they cross the Atlantic. They're only there for 72 hours, and they go to this old, I don't know what to call it, not ancient, but very old French prison that once held Templar knights, specifically when they were escaping the Pope trying to kill them all. And these prisons held some Templars, where they carved on the left here this symbol, and this carving would be done with as grotesque items as the Templars' own teeth, so that they could carve this in. That's how important it was for them to carve this onto the wall. They used their own teeth, and Rick notices this and sees this and very impressed by it, and it's crazy. But they learn that information about what the Templars did and trying to escape with the Templar treasure, and then he goes back to Oak Island, and then and then at the end of the season they haven't found much, and Gary is hanging out with Rick, and I go, what are they doing at the time? They're
drilling.
They were at the money
drilling.
pit, and it started to rain, and they were done, and they're like, let's take a 2-hour break.
No, the
And
drill breaks.
Gary's like,
Right, the drill broke.
Yeah.
So
And-
something
and-
bad originally happened. They were like, "Up, there's the curse of Oak Island again." And something, a drill rig broke or whatever broke. And
But
then
Gary's like, oh, great, we're going to get a 2-hour break. And then Rick's
Yeah,
like, Gary,
everybody wants the break. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
this is a production crew. They've been all working for hours and hours and hours. There's plenty of people behind the scenes that want to eat their lunch, get on their phones, talk to their families. 2-hour break that wasn't anticipated. Hell yeah.
And Rick says, hell no, we're
Hell
going.
no.
We're
Like,
going to go
let's
metal
go.
detecting, Gary.
Let's go metal. So Gary's like, all right.
But it's more of a, really, mate? Really? All right.
So they're
It's Rick, I
teasing.
gotta say yes.
They're teasing Gary because like all you guys are going to find is a bunch of pop tabs.
yeah, pull
Right.
tabs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Pull
pull
tabs.
tabs just from just dudes just dropping and littering.
Which are all over the place because of the crew.
Right.
And in fact, the crew is even like talking smack about, oh, we have
Yes.
to metal detect. So Rick and Gary are in front of the sound guy, and the sound guy is like fiddling, with his pack, and he's getting the sounds ready, and he's got his walkie, and the other crew members are just like cursing like Gary and Rick out. Like,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
"Mormons! I can't believe metal detecting," and they're like, and the sound guy's like, oh, like trying to turn it off. He's like, sorry.
Yeah, we didn't mean to. We didn't mean to.
And what's the first thing they find?
A pull
A pull tab.
A pull
And
tab.
then
The guys are
another
giving
one.
him even more crap.
And they're like, all you're gonna find is that. So what did he find? Like three of them?
Yeah,
Three
it's like
pull
3 or
tabs.
Several in a
4.
row. And then when they finally find the cross,
Yeah. Gary picks it up, and he doesn't say what the famous
So
words.
what he says, so guys, we're not gonna bleep this out because this is what Gary says. I believe his words were "Holy fucking Christ."
followed by a step, followed by the F word like 8 times.
And a
8
couple
times,
more,
and
and a
he
couple
dives. He dives on it and picks it up.
Yeah,
And he's like,
He
"Do you know what this is?" And Rick goes, "I've seen that somewhere before." And that's what we all think. Oh, this was set up. And then he goes
Right.
to France. No, it wasn't. That actually was the way it happened.
I was convinced they found it just as we would. It could have been just as miraculous as that. And then we got to go to France and match this up to something like that's what I thought.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, that's why we were both shocked.
But
So that
what happens is they say to Gary, we can't use you saying the F word 17 times. So we have to do a pickup. We have to just refilm, your face and you picking it up. And please.
And he was against it. He was like, "No, the bleeps work. Just bleep me." He's
And they're
like, "You're
no.
the one person we can't bleep."
They're like,
no.
we'll bleep Blankenship, but we can't bleep you.
Right.
We don't want you. That's not your character on the show. So he's standing there with Rick, and they're like setting up for the shot. And they're like, okay, just say something else. Just say anything else. And he's like, all right, but he can't think. And Rick's like, what are you gonna say, Gary? He's like, I don't know. Let me think. I don't know. And he's like, they only have a few seconds. They're like, okay, Gary, let's get ready. Let's go. And so when they
And
roll the
action.
camera and he picks it up, and that's the line. He says the first thing that comes to his mind.
Holy shamoly!
He goes, "I've made more money off of those 2 words."
Yeah.
A
Holy
t-shirt.
shamoly.
Holy shamoly. All right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so funny. I love
It was an
Oh,
incredible
Gary.
story, and just he's such a great
That's-
storyteller too. I think.
That story, he is a great storyteller, by the way. That story, what we just told, took 20 minutes, I bet. I mean,
It was worth
I'm
it.
like,
The
where are
anticipation
you
was
going
building.
with this? And then you can see, like, he's told this story before, and he loves to tell this story. You can see it come together, and
Yeah.
you're like, no way. That was worth the price of admission right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. and
Yeah.
So it was just great that the Bobby Dazzlers, the Holy Shamoly. I mean, he did tell us about how he started kind of going out and doing stuff and starting to sell stuff and on Amazon, and all of a sudden it was getting blocked. And so he had to, have negotiations with the History Channel to say, can I own my own name, and can I
Actually, he told he talked to one of the head guys. He just happened to say, "Oh, I'm not going to use that word. I'm not going to use top pocket find anymore or holy shamoly." And he's like, "Well, why?" He goes, "That's your line because they won't let me." And he's, "Who won't let you?" And he's like, "Just a minute." And he come back like 10 minutes later and said, "Okay, you're all good. You can sell your stuff. You can sell whatever you want on eBay." They know they
get fixed.
that's you just got to know who
Gary
to
knew
talk
what he
to.
was doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Probably
He's a very smart guy.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was not a name dropper at all, but then he did say, hey, I get hired by people all the time now, J-Lo and Trump and just
he said a lot of
athletes.
names.
Yeah. So he's living his best life right now, and he kind of said he's pretty confident there's one more season after this season, but then he doesn't know what's going to happen after that, and he's going to, is there going to be a Gary Drayton show? I know that there's a bunch of people in his hometown over in London that petitioned the government to have him come and do a show there in England, but I think Gary loves the weather in Florida so much. I don't know if he wants to go back to England and live in the soup, although Adam Foddy would probably appreciate that if he did.
He needs something good to go look for. That's what he needs.
So, then I asked him in a very non-fanboy way. I'm like, Gary, we brought some stuff. And he knew from doing the cameo from us that, Copper Dan raised the money for St. Jude's. And we said we wanted to bring some stuff to give away to you guys, like the T-shirts we just gave away to JK Pioneer, who won. Congratulations. What goes around comes around. JK Pioneer was giving everybody silver at World Series of Fenn, and kind of what goes around comes around. He ends up winning the T-shirt tonight, which is great. But we'll do some more of that. And then I wanted to get some maps that actually had Florida and Oak Island on it. So I brought 6 of those so that each one of us, Ben and Ashley, Dan and I, could get a map. And he signed those. And we've got a couple I think we'll give one away, and then the other we're going to do a St. Jude's charity event with that Dan mentioned and put T-shirt.
So stay tuned on that, guys. If you guys remember the way we held the drawing for the signed map with Jack and Forrest and the frame I built, something similar. I'll probably set up a St. Jude's fundraiser, and then we're just going to do a comment picker, and anyone. You do not have to donate, but it's appreciated if you jump on over. If you do, sign your name into the drawing and give a couple bucks to the kids at St. Jude's. But that stay tuned to I got a busy couple of weeks. I don't know if we're going to get it off next week, but it will happen here in the next number of weeks.
Why don't you guys answer this one from Zari? I said, did Gary know about the Forrest Fenn chase? Because we asked him that at the beginning before we went down to the beach.
He did.
Yeah.
He said that someone was trying to get him into looking for it, but he felt that it just would require so much time that he didn't have the time to really dedicate to it. But he knew it. He knew about it.
Yeah, it's cool. We got kids. Okay. Let me know if you need me.
So I'm wearing this hat that Gary signed, and then we had this wonderful dinner that Ben graciously picked up the tab for. Thank you,
my goodness,
and Apple, Ben and Ashley for the dinner. So I pull out, I've been giving away these dude chips. So I pull out, surprise, surprise, Copper Dan, you don't have one of these. And I give it to Copper Dan, and then Copper Dan blows Ben and mine minds, and he pulls out 2 Forrest Fenn coins and hands them to us. And I was just, I always wanted one. And there's like one on eBay for $300, but I've never had one. And Dan's like, here you go, guys. And I was just like, you've got to be kidding me.
I was on my way out the door to meet you guys, and I realized I didn't get them anything, and it's just my MO. When I meet new people, I feel like I got to get them something. And I'm like, what am I want to get them? A T-shirt that says Minnesota. I'm like, well, yeah, Packer Jack really wants that, and I don't even know what size he's got. I went, wait a minute, I know. I'm like, I've got at one time I had a lot of those. I don't have many left, but I reached in and I had number, I think 460 and 461 or something like that, and I kind of figured you guys didn't have them because you guys didn't come in. You didn't come in time, but now you do.
That was the best thing.
Devilbed said my dude ship never came. I still have to get people's addresses, so they're right here. I've got them. I just don't have people's addresses. So if you want a chip, get in touch with Dan or I on Facebook Messenger. Make sure we get your addresses, and we'll get those sent to you.
Yeah, sorry guys, life gets busy.
So here we are at the beautiful Blue Moon Fish Company. You can see the water in the background and the 6 of us there. And I think that was before we started getting silly.
Yeah,
no, that was after dinner, actually, I think. But
yeah, that was towards it. So, John, at first, your wife through most of the day was very, very quiet. And I was trying to get her, like, are we completely boring the hell out of her? But at drinks, and had a couple of drinks in her, man, she loosened up a little bit. And then her and Ben really were like, Ben was like, do you agree with me? And she's like, I agree with you. I'm like, oh God, no, I'm going to have to live with that the rest of my life.
I love the
there we were having cocktails. And then I wanted art to imitate life of Jack signing a map. So I wanted to get one map to have everybody sign it. So I've got that here. I can show you guys, but we had Ashley, Ben, and I signed it, so you can see our signatures on there. I blocked Copper Dan with my fat Jim Gaffigan wrist there, but
it's okay.
And now, Ben, you tell this story.
So
this was insane.
We all just
no, it's because we walked.
They walked and we drove.
Yeah. We decided to walk.
So Ben and Ashley were by themselves, and they got there before we did, and then we parked and walked there.
And I'm walking by and I'm just I was actually, I think I was just telling a story to Ashley or somebody about how, like, if you walk on Madison at West Yellowstone and you look at all the storefronts, they start to look like chapters of the Thrill of the Chase.
You said that.
Right. And so I always look at storefronts just for giggles, almost like I'm looking for poem clues everywhere I go. And I see blazing scissors and I'm like, come on, blazing scissors.
So we were valeted for the for dinner, and we're like, so Ben and Ashley are going to walk, we're going to drive. So 4 of us jump. So I rent this hopped up Dodge Charger. That was kind of fun. Anyway, we get down there. There's no place to park. By the time I find a place to park, I'm 3/4 of the way back to where I started from. So we ended up walking by, and I saw that. I'm like, John, look at this. Get your camera out and take a picture of this, because by then my phone had died. So he takes a picture of it, and then Ben pulls out, look what I got a picture of. I'm like, no, John, get your phone like that. So that's
we are such rabbit hole junkies that that was amazing that we both took a picture of the same thing.
Hey, Chad, if you have a question, I'm trying to pay a little bit of attention to Chad. If you've got a question, you need to make me put at Copper Factory so I can see it.
I think all 3 of the women at the table collectively groaned when we pulled out our phones and saw blazing scissors together.
I gotta tell you, it was so nice to be with the women too, and just be able to talk to I enjoy talking to Chase, but it was fun when you guys were talking and then we were all basically just bitching about how much you guys were talking about it. That was fun.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was great. We left the dinner place and went down to a taco tequila bar, and we're able to get a table there to finish up the night.
Hey, Ben, what did my wife say after we got done meeting Gary?
Oh my God, I saw her I just catch her and go, my cheeks hurt from smiling so much.
She was just fangirled out, man. She was like, she still can't. Like we got like Monday. She was like, I can't believe we did that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was pretty incredible just because you don't know what to anticipate from something like this, right? Is it just going to be just staring at the sand and metal detecting and listening for beeps, and everybody's quiet and just not really talking? Is it just going to be a lesson, like you feel like you're in school the whole time, or is it just going to be and it kind of felt like you were sitting at a bar listening to Gary Drayton talk while you're on the beach with a metal detector. It was like the best of all worlds.
It was cool. There's the bromance, Dan, Ben. This is as we're getting ready to say goodbye.
Yeah, that was the goodbye right there.
We were 3 sheets to the wind, all of us, or at least I was by then.
Yeah, and you were in DB Cooper mode too at that time. So
I was in intense DB Cooper mode, if I'm not mistaken.
We were having a good time.
On Discord. Yeah.
Frankie.
Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah, we had a great time. It was unbelievable. So I wanted to end talking about a wee bit of treasure, because this got a little bit weird yesterday. So I actually found a couple of things, and one was Gary took us down and, put his scoop in the sand and his metal detector down and had a stand, and we were standing around the whole time around like this little, maybe like 7-inch by 8-inch piece of coral that was there the whole time. And we do the whole thing, and we're about to leave, and I'm thinking, well, I'm like, coral from the beach, that would be cool, because I picked up that shell because I wanted to take at least one shell home with me too. And I pick up that piece of coral. It was actually pretty heavy, and I'm like, oh man, I'm not putting this in my suitcase. And everybody's walking away from me because everybody's walking up to go back to the cars. And all of a sudden I look down, and there's like this perfectly little round ball that still looks, not the color that it is in that picture. And I go to grab it and it breaks off. And then I feel it. And I'm like, wow, this is really heavy. So I'm like, Ben, and Ben's talking to, Gary, and we're walking back. So Ben turns around, he looks at it, he's like, yeah, looks like a fishing lure or something. Or whatever. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And Gary's like, oh, you found something else? Gary's like, oh, you found something else? And Ben's like, yeah, I think it's a fishing lure. And he's like, oh, that's cool or whatever. And then we keep walking. So I put it in my pocket. We go back. I also found, I looked down at one point and saw what I thought was a coin. And when I flipped it, and thank God I didn't hit the little point on it, I turn it over and it's a Miami Dolphins pin. So I'm like, well, I'm definitely picking that up. So I showed that to Gary early on and put it in my pocket, didn't think anything of it. So I take the stuff to work because I told everybody at my office, hey, I'm going down and this is what I'm doing. And some people watch Oak Island and they're like, if you find anything, let us know. So, and after I flipped the pin over, I took a picture of it. But so one of the guys on my staff is a CIO engineer, and he's a huge Civil War buff. And I pass it to him, and he's like, this is definitely a musket ball. And I'm like, what? He goes, this is a musket ball. He goes, it's pressed exactly as a musket ball. It's got the flat side. He goes, this is a musket ball. So he takes me over to his computer, and he starts looking them up online. And he's like, look, here's one from the 1715 fleet. Here's a bunch of other, exact matches to the one that you have. You actually found a musket ball from the 1715 fleet. So I'm like,
I think we hypothesized that too for a second. I think you even said it was like, it could be something else. And then Gary even agreed. I thought he was like, oh, musket ball. I think you even mentioned it when we were on the beach.
Yeah. Well, I thought, but so anyways, he's showing me this. And then the best part is I'm all excited. I go, how much is it worth? And he's like, $10, $20.
Who cares though? That's so dope to find.
I don't care. We found treasure from the 1700s. Yeah. Is all. I was just so shocked.
The way I see it, I got just as much chance to find a musket ball as I do an emerald ring. So this is dope.
Yeah, right. So that's cool. We literally found a musket ball from the 1715 fleet shipwreck. That's insane. And Gary actually found
you did your hands on knees looking down. You didn't even need a metal detector.
Yeah.
You did the Gary Drayton hands on knees.
That's right. So then the craziness started. So I'm looking up the pin to try to figure out how. Well, first of all, the crazy thing about the Dolphins pin is I get back to the hotel room, or I'm with Ben. I forget when it was. I think it was back when we were by the cars, and I'm looking to see if there's a year stamp on it. And then it says made in Winona, Minnesota. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm with Ben, who's a Dolphins fan, and I'm with Copper Dan, who's from Minnesota. How weird is this that we find a Miami Dolphins pin that's made in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Just like, woo, conspiracy theory bridge.
Right.
And, but then I thought it was from like 1986. And I sent this to Ben, and he's like, Ben, what did you say? You're like, dude, that's older than that.
Yeah. I was like, that's the earliest version because the helmet is inside the sun. And I was like, which then leads, as any Dolphin fan knows, the only perfect season in the history of the NFL belongs to the 1972 Miami Dolphins. So this pin could be from the 72 season, the perfect season. You could sell that for $500 to a Dolphins fan, probably.
That's just insane.
Not this one.
That's insane. It's cool. So that's well over 50 years old. And then we found the musket ball. And again, I'm jazzed to actually get a detector, go back down there after a hurricane and look for some real stuff. But
heck yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna try the Pacific Ocean, see what's going on over here too.
So that's it. We had the time of our lives. Everybody got in on a Friday and we were out on a Sunday and back home, but we kind of lived the dream for a full day there. It was amazing.
That was incredible.
You know, I didn't get to go to Vegas this year, and it was heartbreaking. But meeting you three, that was the time of it. That was awesome.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
And now up next is West Yellowstone.
And now you have to bring the wives now. The next time you go to a Fenn event, I already told them. So just letting you know.
I think
Frankie, so here it is. Here's the map that Gary signed. I've got Ben, Ashley, Dan, and my signature on it, and I'm going to cherish that forever. I got your stuff in the mail to you guys with 2 of these t-shirts for you guys. And again, we've got 2 maps. Dan and I are going to figure out how we do. I think Dan already talked about the idea for the St. Jude's charity, and we got some more t-shirts to keep giving away.
And I got some more. So what happened is John had reached out to Gary and asked him for some stuff to raise money for St. Jude's to give away. And it never came. So when we were there, I asked him again, and we asked him again, and he said, give me your address. So before I had left, I emailed him, and he responded back that night. He got it. He goes, oh, and he goes, I'll get it over to my wife handles all of the merch. And so I might be getting stuff too. So we might have a lot of stuff to give away for a while here.
Dude, I gotta contact him. I gotta get his email from you, Gary, or Packer Jack.
Yeah. Oh, we got it. Yeah, I'll get it to you. Yeah. I mean, again, it was fun for us. We still spent a lot of time talking, at dinner about the chase and other stuff, but it was cool to be on a new treasure hunting adventure. And like when you and Alan went to Nixon, and just doing something and bonding over new experiences and being with a true expert in his field, probably the most well-renowned metal detecting expert in the world, and having him literally spend hours with us telling us the tricks of his trade, that if we ever need a metal, we're going to know if we're ever doing a hunt and we need to metal detect, we're going to know what we're doing, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And if it's a good enough hunt, we'll just contact Gary. Tell him
Rooster Cogburn asked, what city in Florida were we at anyways? I can't.
So we were.
I got to pick kids up. I'm sorry, guys. I got to go pick children up, but it was so much fun. So good to see you again. I can't wait to
Ashley.
See you.
It was awesome to be with you and meet you in person. Thank you. Good luck with the kids.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, if you happen to drive by anybody,
Dan, I'll pull up the map again from the slide presentation. So let me grab that, and we can just show them.
Yeah, I wanted to catch up on a few questions from chat. I'm just gonna.
So I'll pull up the map here that we can look at. If it comes up, that's weird. Just went black screen here. Hang on a second. Let's see if this works. There. So hopefully you guys can see this. So we were in Fort Pierce, and Vero Beach is just north of there. When you get to Stuart, Florida, there is actually a strip that you can't really see well in this slide, but there's actually a waterway that goes all the way from Melbourne here. And so you literally have, they call it the Treasure Coast.
Yep.
Because there's just a strip of land there. And you can see West Palm Beach on the south side. You can see Orlando at the top. And we literally were just south of Fort Pierce in a place called Frederick Douglass Memorial Park. And again, if you drive in off of the road there, you can see where the parking lot is. And then we took that top path down to the beach. It was cool because there was people doing horseback riding, and they were taking that path to the south there. But we literally were on that strip of beach right there.
Then there were people doing some illegal hunting.
Florida.
Yeah,
the illegal hunting, the ones that were metal detecting on those dunes, like
in the dunes, which is illegal,
you can't metal detect the dunes. That's kind of interesting. What's the reason for that?
I think if you like that scooper that Gary had, right? That would just easily scoop the sand out. I mean, you add a shovel to it. You got people scooping up the dunes the whole time. Those dunes won't.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes sense.
Plus, I bet you with those dunes, you can see like there's like, there looks like there's vegetation. I bet you there's a lot of like wildlife in those dunes as well. Like it's just, I get it. But you know what? Like, and I think Gary said it too. He's like, I mean, if you're going to be on the beach, it's going to be at the dunes, but you're not allowed to go to the dunes. Like, so it's kind of.
A Minotaur and Bobby Brass. I mean, does Gary party? Yes. He talks about drinking with Laird, and he likes rum. Did you guys ask him out for drinks? We absolutely asked him if they wanted to join us for dinner, that they were invited. And he said he had other plans. And we didn't push it from there. We just said, hey, if you want to meet us out, you're more than welcome to join us.
I don't know what we would have done. The table was only for 6 anyway.
Right.
Oh, we would have made Copper Dan. Sorry, Copper Dan, you can't come. Like, I would have gladly sat that out for you guys.
I would have said, sorry, Susan and Frank, you guys have to leave. It's only for true Fenn treasure hunters.
Oh.
Yeah. Laird is the man, Czar. I mean, yeah. I mean, he truly is the man as far as the guy who's put in the time to be a true archaeologist up there, and literally is representing he's literally representing Nova Scotia for everything that goes on up there, which is cool.
And that's what I mean by like credibility. He gives them credibility.
Yeah. All right, we're at 9:10. We reached our hour, fellas. So
man, we could go on for a while tonight. I didn't think we were going to get this thing even in an hour and 10. I figured this. But
that's why I put the slides together, keep us on track, make sure it's all content.
That's what our Packer Jack is for, keeping us on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Well done, boys.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll have to have another happy hour coming up one of these weekends where we do the other format. And
am I allowed to drink and smoke weed on that one, or just drink?
You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want, whenever you want. You're Ben Napple.
Not on the Copper Factory. I'm not.
Not on the Copper Factory, but on if we have a happy hour.
Happy hour. Yeah.
Happy hour.
Happy hour. Let's do a happy hour. I think
this goes.
I think everybody needs a good old happy hour this week. I think that's a really splendid idea.
Yeah, we could maybe do some more T-shirt giveaways this weekend. Then we've got a couple. We've got a little stack. I loaded up on them to make sure that.
How many did you get?
672, 687.
687.
7287.
I dropped my.
That's the P.O. box number, my boys. Just remember that. 687. We can go on Discord after this and answer any more questions. Ben and I will probably be on there tonight.
Yeah, apparently I have to put out some fires on Discord. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, peace, positivity. You know, the one thing about Gary that he said, you know, through all his trials and tribulations is just having a positive attitude and just keeping positive and staying away from negativity. So, you know, I think for us in the chase and for Discord and any other interactions we're having, it's just save the drama for your llama.
3D Brian says, no metal detector required. 2 of the oldest artifacts on the beach were Copper Dan and Packer Jack.
That's true. You know what we didn't talk about? Here's one thing. Ben, you take this one. When the Curse of Oak Island opens the first couple of seasons, they talked about finding pieces of human bone. Talk about what Gary told us about finding human bone.
Whoa, that one. I see. That's the one where I don't know if we're allowed to, if we should say that stuff. I don't know it because it feels like why haven't they advertised the heck out of it? And I have to wonder if maybe there's reasons. But okay, the not keeping secret version is there's more than the 2 bones that they've advertised. When I say advertised, when you watch the show, one of the big things you'll do as a defender of the show, if you're talking to someone who doesn't think there's anything there, is, well, I don't know how you explain the human beings that are buried 150 feet deep next to an alleged vault. The what? Yeah, there's human bones that we found. One from Middle Eastern descent, one from European descent, right next to each other, dating right back to the Knight Templar ages. Interesting. Like, and that's all we've ever been able to talk about as fans. And then Gary goes, I don't even know how to drop in the bucket. Like there's a lot more. And like, what? And same type of stuff, not different eras, all corroborating the same kind of time period. Middle Eastern descent. Bones. Yeah,
we don't want to get Gary, you know, there's a lot of things. We talked about a lot of things, you know, and some of I'm sure most of what Gary said, you know, he's got to realize when he says that. I mean, I would assume.
Well, and they wanted to be very respectful too, because we know the Templars brought slaves over with them. So he said, you know, we don't talk about that on the show just because of using the word.
But they have a lot of
there's a lot to do with respect for humanity of, you know, if there's relics and human remains and talking about people that were there as slaves and so on and so forth. And he talked to us about the beach we were at, saying, yeah, these guys came here in 715 and other times, and the Indians came to meet them, and they ended up slaughtering like 200 Indians on that beach we were on, which is like, your heart just kind of goes, ooh, I hope that's not the musket ball I found went through one of those Indians. But
if you guys ever get the chance to meet Gary, he is the real deal. He is he's a kind-hearted soul. He is funny. He's a storyteller.
I literally think, I definitely am going to take up metal detecting. I think he saved me years of stuff I would have to learn over years. That within a couple of hours, he kind of went through his whole playbook. And he also told us how he used to fake people out by giving them wrong information. Because Ben, you and I have talked about that.
That's
good
what
happens.
happens.
Right. Point to some other people. When he and his wife go out sifting, he wears a bandana and just keeps his eyes. And if so no one recognizes him, then he talks in Spanish or Russian if someone comes up and starts asking questions.
Brilliant. Dos Vidonia.
All right, fellas. Have a great night. Ben, thanks for coming on. Dan, great trip. Guys. We'll talk about a happy hour. And JK, get us your address. Devil Bud, get us your address. If we owe anybody else stuff, Dan, let's get their addresses. Make sure we get it sent out.
We do.
You guys should get your stuff on Friday.
To everyone in chat, thank you. Everybody that's being quiet behind the scenes, thank you. And I think we will talk to everybody. Next Tuesday is up in the air. I'm not sure if we're going to go live next Tuesday or not. Might be Wednesday because I might not be back from Florida yet. But
we'll see.
Anyways. Just going back and forth to Florida. All right, boys.
I know a couple more times
guys.
too.
See ya.
Have a great night. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one, Al.
Thanks for hanging in there with us. We appreciate it. See ya.
Peace.